Yo, what's up guys? Today I'm going to be working on a video that I've been wanting to make for a while now. Building tutorial video. The only reason I haven't made it is because it's so hard finding so many materials in regular game modes, and then you go through them so fast because you have to go over it over and over and over. So now that we have playground mode, I'm going to get this done before they end up taking it out again. And I'm going to go over a lot of key concepts that builders use. I think a lot of people don't realize that building is not as simple as just practicing you'll be good at building, but you also have to understand the fundamentals to it. It's like anything, any sport, any other thing that takes a lot of practice to get good at. There's a lot of things behind it that make you a good builder. It's not just practice building and you'll be good. My old music teacher used to say, practice doesn't make perfect, perfect practice makes perfect. And it's true. If you're practicing the wrong way, that it's even worse because you're gonna end up building the wrong habits. You need to be building the right habits when it comes to building so that you can, be the best builder that you can be. So like I said, I'm going to be going over key concepts that I feel I use very often and that most builders use very often. And I'm just going to go over them and provide examples where I use those exact concepts in a real game. Alright guys, so the first concept I'm going to be going over is the basic wall ramp. So when it comes to fighting opponents, this is something I do almost every time I fight somebody. So obviously if you know anything about building, you already know this, but for those of you that don't know this, it's just a super simple concept. Wall ramp, shoot. Wall ramp, shoot. Wall ramp, shoot. But the reason you need to learn this and have it down to instinct is because a lot of people's first instinct when they see an opponent is to shoot and then try to get into a gunfight. Because Fortnite has bloom, if you do that, if you get yourself into a gunfight, it's going to come down to randomness, who wins that fight. Then it just depends who gets lucky because bloom is completely random. This is why you need to get into the habit of having your ramp this way so you can outplay your opponent the way you're peeking and the way they're moving. You can outmaneuver them and dodge their bullets. This takes the randomness. It doesn't take it completely out of the equation, but it definitely makes it a lot less random than both of you shooting at each other out in the open. Super simple, but one of the most important parts of Fortnite, because you're going to be doing this against every single opponent you come across. Ouch. Just absolutely melted. Alright, so another concept I want to talk about. This one is probably one of the more technical type of things where you need to practice it till you have 100% consistency with it or 99% consistency with it. It's the process of not building under your ramp. Whenever you get into build fights, you'll notice that you tend to, every now and then, you'll end up under your ramp. Or if some of you, this happens to you a lot, this is something you definitely need to work on because it's one of the most important things when it comes to being a consistent and good builder is not ending up under your ramp, because ending up under your ramp in this situation is a huge mistake and can easily cost you the match. So basically when you're looking down and you jump to place a ramp, there's a certain position that you can be. Floor is right here, right? So this is one tile. About here is the farthest you can be before you end up under your ramp. If you try here, you end up under your ramp. Right here is about the farthest you can be. So again, right here, over your ramp, over your ramp, under your ramp. So pretty much 80% of the way there is where you are guaranteed to be over your ramp if you place the ramp at the correct time. If you place it too late, same thing will happen. You need to place the ramp at the height of your jump. If you place it too early or too late, you'll end up under the ramp. This is what happens when you place it too early. I ended up being pushed forward and built 2 ramps on accident. And this is what happens when you push it too late. Now that's obviously very very late, very exaggerated. So it's much more common to push it too early than too late. But it's still possible to push it too late, especially when you end up like jumping too much and you end up with jumping fatigue like this. It's very easy to end up under your ramp. Like this, very easier to end up under your ramp. The way you want to practice this is by coming up to a wall anywhere and just standing by the edge of it and jumping and build, jump, build, jump, build. It seems pretty simple, and it is very simple, but the point of this exercise is to get it consistent to the point that you never ever end up under your ramp. I can with confidence say that a good 96 to 98% of the time I do not end up under my builds because of how much I have practiced this situation. The second concept I'm going to go over is how to get the high ground when you need to build up. Say an opponent is coming at you and you need to, get over them. You have two options. One of them is obviously go with the ramp. The reason I rarely do this though is because it's so easy to get shot down if you're not reinforcing the walls like this, and that wastes more materials. So my preferred method of getting the high ground is to do this. So say you are in this spot right here. An opponent is pushing you and you need to immediately build up. So I'm going to do it fast first and then break it down for you guys. Okay, so this is how you get the high ground opponent when you want to go straight up and you can't build forward. I'm going to break it down now into a slow motion, piece by piece thing. So you're in this spot, an opponent's pushing you from there. What you got to do if you want to go straight up is wall, wall, floor, ramp. Now this floor, it's not needed 100%, but it gives you more stability to your structure and it makes you more consistent. I find that if you try to do this, a lot of times what can happen is that you end up under your build because you don't have that stability of the floor. So what you end up doing is this. And once you screw yourself like this, you've made a blunder. And your opponent, if they know how, they're going to destroy you from just this mistake. Because to get out of this, chances are once you're down here, you're going to panic, you're not going to know what to do, and it's going to cost you the match. So again, you're in this position. Wall, wall. The reason, again, you need the floor. You don't need the floor, but if you don't have a very high sensitivity, it's better to just do this. Because you don't have to look up. If you want to just do wall, wall, ramp, you need to be looking up. And that can cause two problems. You end up with your ramp up there instead of down here, or you end up under your ramp. If you do a ramp here, so we have the ramp out, right? But if you're looking down, it won't build. And that's why you need the floor. Once you put the floor down, the ramp will build. So again, wall, wall, floor, ramp, wall, wall, floor, ramp, wall, wall, floor, ramp, wall, wall, floor, ramp, and now you have the high ground of your opponent. So that's something I do a lot, a lot, and I'll post examples. But so if you don't want to do my way with the floor and you want to just practice this way, this is how you do it. But like I said, I don't like that method because it's just, unless you could get yourself down to 100% consistency, it's going to screw you over a lot. And that's the reason why I got into the habit of always putting down the floor. It doesn't take that much extra time, and I think it makes you way more consistent. You see that? I did it like 7-8 times in a row, not one mistake. But the moment I try to do it without the floor, I end up screwing it up pretty fast. Nope, I'm getting it. Yep, there it is. Alright, so that's what I call, again, the wall ramp. It's very important that you get that down super consistently. 100% of the time you want to do it right, because it's so hard to do it under pressure correctly, but it gets you the high ground so often, and it's so no, you don't. That sucks. Well, I'm almost out of map. Oh, you got it. What? Jesus Christ, I cannot believe she was not dead. There, my superior aim got me. Yo, this ship almost had it. Oh no. There you go. Double ramp, double wall, which is an extremely difficult one to get. I personally rarely use it. I do use it, and it's important that you practice and you can do it. It's just so easy to mess up that I just don't recommend you get into a habit of using it. You know, it's extremely intimidating if you do learn it right, and when an opponent sees this coming at them, they freak out. If they are not a very good player, they will freak out. Boom. The way I do it, I guess, is left, left, right, right, left, left, right, right, left, left, right, right. And I kind of try to keep it in a circular motion. I find that the circular motion is a bit easier to do. This is one situation where a lower sensitivity would probably help you out, just because it's so erratic. I mean, it's very difficult to control a higher sensitivity. Yeah, so that guy here. So the next one we're going to talk about is the sandwich stairs. This is used whenever you lose high ground for whatever reason and you need to regain it very quickly. It is a double stairs that you see all the pros do. So say for whatever reason you ended up under your stairs somehow, what you're going to do is you got to make sure there's a roof there, somewhere where the second set of stairs can latch on, and then you just go stair, stair. Basically you're just holding the stair button while looking up and down. Up, down, up, down. And that's how you double stair. When you get to the top, you put a wall here, rotate, floor, ramp, and now you have the high ground. Now, because I'm showing you guys an example, I went out really far. You should never be going farther than, I say 2, maybe 3 stairs. But 2 is usually where I do it and it ends up working out. Okay, whatever reason, you ended up under your stairs, the guy's right above you. Okay, so guy right above you, double stair, rotate, and that is the sandwich stairs, is what I have called it. So this guy just fell through his build. Relax. I'm not gonna hurt you. I lied, I am gonna hurt you. So this next one, I call it the wraparound. This one I use it quite a bit. Most people use it quite a bit without even realizing it. You know, it doesn't really have a name, but I wanted to name every concept I give you so you guys have some way to reference it if you need to. So this is called the wraparound. Let me build something up. So this is one where, say your opponent, they're up there, right? It's very similar to the double wall, to the double ramp sandwich I just showed you guys. The only difference is that you go usually 1 or 2 stairs. Say your opponent is in that box, you're gonna put a stair there, and then you're gonna immediately wall all of this and to just try to get over them. Now when it's done slow, it doesn't look very good, but when you do it fast, it actually is extremely useful, and it ends up working out. The only thing you need to make sure is that you don't go out too far. If you're going out this far, you need to make sure they're not going to have a chance to either shoot you in the back or shoot your ramp down. I see so many people, they just try to risk it and go for it and say, oh man, I hope I can make it. You know, you should be able to tell whether your opponent is going to be able to shoot you in the back or not. And if he is, then the farthest you should go out is just one stair, and then you place a double ramp here. Oh, you just got out there.
Example of my building abilities. There we go. This guy is too good for me. No, he's not.
Oh.
Found him. Thank you, whoever shot
This is where I want to tell you guys that these concepts that I'm showing you guys, they're not meant to be done exactly the same way every single time. They're more like a rubber band. It needs to be stretched out, and you need to twist them and combine them in your own way. You know, nobody actually says, okay, I'm gonna do, you know, the double ramp first and then do the turnaround thing. You know, you need to get it to a point where it's all just fluid and it all just comes together without you really having to think about it, because every situation is different, and you need to improvise, and you need to be able to combine these concepts and mix and match on your own. But before you can do that, you need to actually know, you know, be able to do each concept on its own, and that once you've got each one down very, very well, that'll make it extremely easy to mix and match them without even thinking. So this next one I'm going to show you guys is called the floor ramp. It is used when an opponent is only one tile above you, and you can immediately get to their level and shoot them. So your opponent is up here, your opponent is one tile above you looking down. So what you do here is you hug this wall right here, look down, floor, ramp, shoot. And then you only get one shot. Once you take your shot, you immediately put a wall, ramp, and shoot again. So this one I call it the floor ramp, because you're only putting two pieces of material. You hug the wall, floor ramp, shoot. Hug the wall, floor ramp, shoot. So you want to do it facing away from your stairs, like at the top of your stairs, facing that way. Floor ramp, take a shot. So that one's called the floor ramp. I use that one pretty often when I feel that my opponent is weak and I just need to get up there to get that one shot in and take him out. I don't or anything, but his teammates can get revived now. That was amazing too. Oh, my man knows how to build. Bro, what are you doing? Guys, this is overbuilding right here. You guys... He left his high ground because he got nervous. He got scared. You don't want to do that. Oh, now I did it. Oh, that could have been bad. That could have been very bad. So I want to impulse this guy off. See you later, bro. What? I can't believe he survived that impulse. The next edit kills. This one is one that you need to practice. First of all, you need to go into your settings. You need to go down here. Edit mode aim assist needs to be turned off. This makes it so that when you edit something, you can freely move it around. It doesn't snap onto it. It's a little bit harder to use, but it gives you much more freedom and it doesn't screw you up, because the aim assist can screw you up quite a bit. It was actually a huge problem before you could turn it off, and people would complain about it on Reddit all the time. So now that you can turn it off, make sure it's off and, you know, practice. The hardest ones is stairs, but once you learn it, it's extremely satisfying. This one is for edit kills, right? So say there's a guy in here. Okay, so you see this guy box himself in. This is, obviously you cannot edit this because it's not yours. So he's in there, he's boxed in. What you're gonna do, take out your pickaxe, break it. So right now it's one hit, right? You're gonna take your hit, immediately after the hit, take out your pencil and R1 for the floor. It takes a bit of practice, but once you get the hang of it, swing and you can place it faster than they can. So swing, and that's my wall. And now edit. Ever since they fixed this, it's a little bit harder, but you can still see them through the cracks. So you're gonna want to, you know, find them in the crack. Say he's in the corner right there. So this guy's hiding in the wall, right? You're gonna break through the wall. Now it's my wall. You gotta be careful, because just because you have the wall doesn't mean that they can't shoot you. So you don't want to be standing here when you edit it. Before you did want to do that because you could see through it, but now that you can't, when editing, you want to pull off to the side a little bit and then do that. Or, you know, get some stickies in there, whatever you have. So this one, it's a little bit hard to explain when you don't have an enemy, which is why I have examples. But I call it the wall ramp rush. So essentially, your opponent, say he's over there, close to you, very close, pushing on you, wall ramp, and then you're right above him. So it's a little bit difficult because it requires a lot of practice, because it's very easy to end up under your build, because in this scenario you're only doing a wall ramp, you're not doing your floor like usual, and so if you're not careful you end up under your ramp, which is a huge mistake and ends up costing you the fight, right? So that's why you need to be as close to this corner as possible. If you're not there, this is what's gonna happen. And now you made a mistake, you need to do this and do the wraparound to get them, which by then they might already be over you, and you know, big mistake. So again, this one is meant for when somebody's pushing you. The point of this one is that you don't put the floor here. It saves a little bit of time, which is usually just enough time to get that right over them and do that. I recommend practicing not putting the floor, because in this situation, if you do practice it a lot, you'll get good at not ending up under your build. So one more time, you need to get back a little bit, and then you give it a flick. When you get to the top, the moment you land on your stairs, you give it a flick to the right, and while holding L2, and it gives you the stairs. This is what it should look like. This flick is actually extremely important, because almost always your opponent will end up under these stairs right here, and from there, you know, you can either edit the stairs or, you know, floor here, get behind them. But that's why the double stair is so important when you get to the top right here. And I actually incorporate that into quite a lot of my builds. You know, again, I'll have examples, but you guys should be able to see how often I actually do this double stair. Way too far out. GG. Dude, I'm telling you guys, this is so sick. Oh, that's a 1v1, that's the last guy. GG, boys. What the hell, man? Alright, so this guy thinks he's good. Unfortunately, he's not. Wait, no, he is. Is he under me? Yes! Wait, what? There's another guy. Alright, there's that one. Now we got a John Wick we gotta worry about. Bye-bye, John. Oh, that's not good. Alright. Maha grab now. Oh, that was the last guy? So yeah, let me know what you guys think down below. Again, I worked pretty hard on this video, you know, cutting up everything together. I had to download all my old YouTube videos and put them all together. So if you guys could drop a sub, I'd appreciate that so much. Let me know what you guys think down below, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace out. Okay, so the next tip I want to show, I also learned by watching TV. This one you want to practice it while being high enough to die, because this is you're only going to be using this when you're high enough to die. So basically what Tifu does, or what PC players do when they're rushing somebody, they use bounce pads on stairs, but what they do is they run up the stairs, rotate their stairs, place a stair, and then bounce back. And on console, it's very difficult to rotate your stairs in time, to do it fast. It's just very difficult, I think. He jumps off the stairs and places a stair here and bounces. Sometimes he does a rotate, but on console this is so much easier to do because all you gotta do is jump and put stairs down. The problem with that is that it's very scary to do it, very easy to mess it up, and if you mess it up you're gonna die. And so this is why you want to practice this high enough to die, because you need to get comfortable enough that in a real game 1v1 scenario you'd be willing to jump off and do that. It's very scary at first, but once you get comfortable with it, it's very easy to just never mess it up. But again, you need to keep practicing it until you can do it consistently every time and you're willing to throw yourself off and do this. Because another thing is that when you're going to be doing this strategy, you're going to be building up, right? The moment you hear somebody shooting you down, that's when you're going to want to do it, bounce back. You only have a split second to, you know, think about what you want to do and do it. And that's why you need to practice it until you can. So you're building, somebody starts shooting you down, boom. So again, very scary, but I think it's something that everybody should learn, very simple to learn. After a couple practices, you will be willing to do it in a real game. It's not that difficult.